We're shedding our masks and breaking down walls. Hell, we may even drop our drawers. That's right. We're going commando with Angela and Dana. Hi, my name is Dana Sarnato, and this is Angela DeMarco. And once again, we are going commando. Going Commando is a little show that we put together because we understand the importance of authenticity. We understand that, you know, the simplest path to happiness is just, you know, understanding your worthiness to be who you are, embracing that and bringing it to the world. And Angela and I do our best to do that. And we hope by doing so, we give you permission to do the same. So good morning, Angela. How are you?
Good morning. Yes, please forgive us because we're having a lag issue and it's frustrating. So we may talk over each other and, but besides, technology, yay, commando. Okay.
It'll be like being at like an Italian holiday. We'll just keep stepping on each other and talking all over each other. We'll be all right.
Oh my God. I have a funny story about that. My first starter husband, he came home for Thanksgiving. Italian Thanksgiving. I've got 25 people there at my mother's house. And I'm having conversations over here. Yeah. Fuck your mother. Blah, 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 blah. Everyone's telling each other off. And he's sitting there. I look down and he's cutting his turkey. And he's like, what is going on? And I'm like, just trust me. And I'm like, it's all good. This is how we talk. It means I love you. And then I go to his Irish household and they're just like, could you pass the Grey Poupon? They're just like all like, let's not get into it kind of thing. It was crazy.
I didn't know because, you only grow up with what you know. This is the basis of everything that we talk about, right? And I know that especially with the food is ridiculous. So again, you're at the dinner table, fuck your mother, and all these things. But the food. So when I was in my 20s, I had my boyfriend at the time, flavor of the month, Bill, came home for Christmas and never experienced an Italian household on Christmas Eve.
Oh, Jesus. So if anybody, you were brave.
Oh my God. So if anybody knows anything about, the Feast of the Seven Fishes, you know what I mean? So it's just course after course after course after course. And you do all the fishes, but of course you have to have lasagna and you have to have all these other things too,
Yeah.
And I remember we were like, I don't know, maybe a third of the way in. And somebody was like, where's Bill? What happened to Bill? Nobody knows. And I went looking for him and he was in the spare bedroom laying on the bed with his pants unbuttoned. Laying there. Like, I wasn't ready. I'm like,
you gotta pace yourself, buddy. And then you get like in trouble if you don't try everything. You know what I mean? Like if you don't eat the thing over there, you got in trouble. And what's wrong? You don't like my lasagna? You're gonna eat her fish, but not mine.
Mm. Yep. And the new person that comes in is basically judged on what they eat and how much they eat. You know what I mean? If they can't hang, like they had to hand it to Bill because Bill really gave it, he gave it everything. Like he gave it what he had, but when they're sitting there just kind of being like, I'll just have a little, who is this fucking guy? Who is this guy? You know what I mean?
Do you have any salad? Do you have any salad? Yeah, it's called antipasto. Eat up.
I know. Yeah. Have a piece of pepperoni and shut the fuck up.
Okay.
So no natural.
Divergent. Sorry. Oh my God, this is going to be so fun.
Go ahead. So why are we here, Angela?
No, before we get into it, I have to talk about my experience. I have to. I promise we'll get into all the good stuff, guys. It'll be really quick. But on Thursday, and I like longevity. Let's go for long. It'll be really long now. My friend had an extra ticket and I went to go see Pearl Jam in Las Vegas on Thursday. So I got on a plane, did the whole traveling thing. And it was just this magical experience. I just love hearing this band so much. And I was thinking about it. It's like I've been a fan since 92. So it's like almost like this time capsule of my life when I go to hear these songs, and they'll play a song from the past. And I'm like this one song called Inside Job. It's about recovery. And it was like my recovery anthem. Like I would leave from meetings and drive around just listening to it over and over and over again. And it reminded me of my recovery, and they played it. And I'm like, oh my God. So it's just like, and to hear the new stuff, you're just so proud of the guys. You're like, guys, this is rocking. You're so good. And it was just, I have no regrets going. I was exhausted. I was sweaty. I was a mess. I didn't care. I didn't care. It was really cool. And I was telling you this, Dana, like that, how there are some people who were like holding it in. And I'm just like, what? You want? Like I'm a maniac. I don't care who's next to me. I don't care what's going on. I'm singing at the top of my lungs, singing the wrong words. I don't freaking care. But it's just because I'm so like comfortable in my own skin, you know? But at these shows, since 94 was my first show, I've always felt that way. I've always felt comfortable in my own skin, even when I was at the worst when I wasn't. So I'm really glad I went. The first night in Vegas, for all the fans that might be listening, was a killer freaking set list. It was like the best set list ever of the tour, if I could say. And it was just awesome. I have no regrets. Not one letter.
No regrets, man. And I love what you say about how when in the presence of Pearl Jam, you have always been able to be yourself and just be from the core, right? From the core. And you have openly admitted how you've never felt like you've been able to be yourself in any situation in your life. And I just want to just make a point about that, because I just saw a meme about this, actually, talking about a flower. You know what I mean? When a flower doesn't grow, you don't do anything to the flower, change a seed, you change its environment, right? And it's the same thing. You get to be the fullest version of yourself because you are so deeply aligned with the music, with the message, everything about Pearl Jam. You connect and you just become the best version of yourself. So when we find ourselves in jobs, in relationships, in circumstances where we don't explode into our selfness, into our authenticity like that, then we need to reassess. Is this the right job for me? Is this the right partner? Is this the right music? I mean, that's dumb, but you know what I mean? So it's just, all it is an example of showing you who you are.
Oh God. And I am a freaking maniac.
We know this. We know this. You and I don't, you know what I mean? We're not hanging out because you're not a maniac. Come on. I have a very serious vetting process, Angela. And that's like number 1 or 2. Has food all the time is up in the top 3. Total maniac and willing to bury the body at a snap. So you're in, all girl. 3. You're in.
Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about why we're here. Thank you very much for indulging me. So we're in the season of balance, and we're talking about, we're kind of like learning about all the chakras, and we're spending time learning about what it looks like when it's imbalanced and what it looks like when it's balanced. And this kind of work really helps you feel aligned, you feel grounded, you feel whole. You get to like kind of look at, looking under the hood. If you're like in a car analogy, you're looking under the hood because the check engine light's on. Check engine light can be one of thousands of things. So this is a way to kind of assess where the issue is, So, and if you can look at it without emotion, and do this work just as like an excavation, like a fact-finding mission, so that you can turn off that check engine light, fix that little problem where it is, and then they'll have the car running smoothly and everything's wonderful. So we have been working with Dana's book, Veda Finds Her Crown. And it's this beautiful story for those who haven't listened to an episode yet. It's this beautiful story of these little characters that Dana designed and created, and each one represents a chakra. So they go through their little adventure, and then in the back of the book is a whole workbook that basically you can follow along with what we're doing here, but you can also do it on your own if you feel so inclined. It's available through phenom-publishing.com. We'll put a link, and it's in the show notes. And so we're kind of like dead smack in the middle. We last week we talked about the imbalances of a heart chakra, and I was ridiculously giddy, and I still am. So let's get into how to love up that heart.
Okay, so I just want to talk about your giddiness just for a second, because as we talk about all the chakras that lead up to the heart chakra, we have our 3 foundational chakras: the sacral, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. And when those are in balance, when there's a lack of structure there, it affects the upper chakra, starting with the heart, throat, third eye, crown, and so on and so forth. So when you lack worthiness, when you don't feel safe, when you, all of those things, again, the Go back and watch them if you want to know more about them. But when those things are out of balance for whatever reasons they're out of balance, it directly affects your ability to love wholly, to love freely, to love without condition or expectation, just to freaking, just to love, right? And Angela's giddiness is coming from a place of she's done the work. I've watched her. I've been there. Front lines. Yay. She's done the work to bring herself to a place of alignment so she can love in a way that is just without any reservation. And the thing is Angela's a very loving person. I'm talking about you like you're not here. So let me tell you a little bit about Angela.
I love it. Tell us more.
So Angela's a very, talk more about Angela. But Angela's a very loving person by nature. She always has been. But because there's been imbalances, because she hasn't felt safe, because she hasn't felt worthy, what appeared to be very loving was imbalanced and came across as needy, clingy, desperate. Every time I say that, I kind of laugh because you have to say
I know.
And she was so clingy, but it appeared loving. You know what I mean though? But it appeared loving because there's so much love there. But now it's all imbalanced and you can see she's a different person. If you go back and you watch an episode from let's just go with any episode in November. So 20 episodes ago, right?
Yeah.
In the 50s. This is 47. Go to episode 47. You can see the worry, the burden, the pain. You can see it. And now everything is aligned and you can see the love overfloweth. What am I fucking Shakespeare? But I said to Yaya this morning, thy lady doth protest too much. She's like, you're weird. I'm like, but that's Lady Macbeth. I don't understand. Actually, it's not Lady Macbeth. We're speaking of Lady Macbeth. Whatever. It's irrelevant. Back to Angela. So it really, really is something. So last week we talked about the heart chakra and the things that create imbalances and what those imbalances look like. You carry a lot of judgment. You lack compassion. You're not thoughtful. You just really your desire to love somebody comes with a price. If I do this, you'll love me back. So that's where we were today. And we've already started talking about what it looks like when your heart chakra is balanced, when it's aligned and it's free flowing. And I was thinking about it this morning, or I've been thinking about it. Like, how do you tell somebody, how do you align your heart chakra? Like, how do you tell somebody? What would you say, Angela, before I get into my whole 4 simple steps?
I think it's basically what you were saying. If we do go back to those episodes when Dave and I were coming to the terms of the divorce, that this was happening, all of that worry was not just the sadness was not just because of the relationship failing, because the love was gone a long time ago. I mean, let's just be honest, right? You don't come to that decision without it being there. So it was really the thing I was feeling was fear. How am I going to take care of my kids? Where am I going to go? And lack of all that foundational stuff. And it's unraveled in ways that it's just like an onion, like you're just peeling it slowly. And I'm like, oh, it's like an understanding. But all of those understandings that get me to a place where I can love freely are because I handled my safety. I found my worthiness. All of those lower chakra stuff that was driving my intentions. So for me, it was literally like that those pipes were clogged to get to where I am. And now I have no fear of how my words are going to land when I tell somebody I love them. I have no fear of how I'm going to be okay because everything always was working out for me. I have no, all of those things, they're all rooted in fear. And now I lack, when you talk about in woo-woo, the spectrum between love and fear and how you're just somewhere on the spectrum, I feel like I am living in 95% love. The fear creeps in, but I do not, everything I do is based on that. But that's the work, and I slide. But right now, I'm up there.
I just want to talk about that spectrum for a second because I've said that to people before, and I think unless you're experiencing it, it's hard to really buy into the concept. So I just want to give a deeper explanation. What Angela's referring to is I talk about there's a spectrum of love and fear. Fear being all the way on one end of the spectrum, and that's where all the emotions about, anger and worry and, disgust and hate and frustration, all the yucky feelings. And then on the higher end of the spectrum is love. And so love, joy, peace, freedom, your ability to be authentic, all of those things. So if we have the ability to love, like if there's 100% on that line, right? 100% of love, but I'm carrying fear and anger and I'm carrying those things, then it's going to lessen my ability to love. So maybe my ability to love, and these are like really like arbitrary numbers. Like this is not science. Okay. just to be clear, but maybe my ability to love, because I carry anger, I carry fear, I carry judgment, I carry resentment. Maybe I really can only love at 70% of my full potential of the ability to love. So I'm only able to love at 70%. I don't know this. I just know, of course I love my children. Of course I love myself. Of course I love my family. Of course I love my spouse, but I'm loving as much as I could love. But the more I peel back and rid myself of those fears, of those resentments, of those judgments, all of a sudden my heart opens to a place that now I can love at 80% capacity. I didn't even know I was able to do that. And then all of a sudden, everything is so much more beautiful and everything is so much more fulfilling. And then I pull some back more because that was cool. I'm going to do it again. And now I can love it 90% capacity. And that's what I'm seeing in you, Angela. I'm seeing somebody, of course you loved your family and loved your husband and loved your life and loved your house. Everything about you was like, oh my God, I love everything. But now that you're relieving yourself of those things that stunted or hindered your capacity, and you're all the way over here, God, fuck, man, I didn't even know this was possible.
I know. And it's absolutely incredible. It's like all of a sudden love songs make sense. All of a sudden I hear the birds. I swear I'm like I'm a bad rom-com right now. But it's like all of a sudden everything is like my son could say something rude. I'm like, oh my God, you're so cute. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I like all the things that would have gotten to me from enjoying and experiencing what we're here to experience was like wearing blinders, like the fear of it's like different shades of sunglasses, like how much can you see? And it just makes so much sense to me. And I hope that the spectrum makes sense to you guys. And if you have any questions about it, like seriously put in the comments, because once you kind of understand that your capacity is really what's contingent on this work opens your capacity, and we're here to love, we're here to experience joy, we're here to do those things. So I think that's awesome.
It's fun. It's so, for me to see you living this, you have no idea. I'm just like, oh yes, it's so cool. It's so cool to watch. I mean, you're a bit of a dork. We're not going to lie, but it's so cool to watch. Oh, so for those of you who are watching and you're like, just like, just tell me the first thing. Like, what do I do? What do I do? Okay. So I thought about this, and there's like four simple steps, but there's 4 things that you can look at within yourself that will kind of give you a sense of where you are in your ability to like love. First and foremost, forgiveness. Okay. Forgive those who have, and I say in quotes, wronged you, because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. It feels like it was towards you, but it wasn't. They sucked and you kind of got in their way, and then they got it on you, and it sucks. So forgiveness, forgiving yourself for not knowing any better when you were doing stupid shit. Forgiveness for others for not knowing any better when they were doing their shit and they got on you. Just forgiveness. Now, if you are unable to forgive, if forgiveness is something that you're like, no, fuck him, he wronged me, now you're carrying judgment. And if you're carrying judgment about the whole thing, you have to ask you say to yourself, this is all just information. What is this information telling me? Well, my father was totally abusive. Okay, what was the information? That clearly he never learned how to love properly, and he learned that anger and aggression was a way to get people to do what he wants. And I happened to be his daughter and got into the crosshairs. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you take away the judgment of it. You take away the judgment. So you look at it and you go, oh, it's just information. You process it in that way, and you come to learn that you have compassion because you forgave yourself. You've worked through your stuff. You've forgiven somebody else. You see it from a non-judgmental perspective. which allows you to heal in a way, heal your pains and your woes of it, and then have compassion for another. And then the fourth part of it is to have gratitude, have appreciation for all of it. Because clearly, even though dad sucked, dad was abusive, and dad created these imbalances in me, that experience taught me how to bring myself into balance and become a better person because of it. I don't judge him for it. Therefore, I see it for what it is, and I could have gratitude for the experience, all of it, the good, the bad, the ugly, forgiveness, non-judgment, compassion, and gratitude. If you could sit in those spaces, holy shit, you're going to look like Angela.
I don't know if that's what people want, but oh my God, but that's, it reminds me of, it's just brilliant because I remember there was one point when I was in recovery and I was just like, my sponsor was like, you just something like this, like, how do you, like, I was like, how? She was telling me just, I just don't understand how. And she goes, how? She's a very strong woman. And she was like, honesty, openness, and willingness. And it clicked. And I was like, oh, because I'm always like what are the steps? Okay, who do I write to? What do I say?
Yeah.
What do I do? What are the actions? Like that's how I roll. But honesty, be honest with yourself, be open, and then be willing. And I think that is the first step to getting into forgiveness. Right?
Yeah.
Be honest about the situation, right? Be honest. Like take one. I had so many things I needed to forgive: people, places, things. In AA, you do the ninth step where you write all your wrongs and all the people you're pissed off at and do all those things. I was pissed off at the credit card company, my mother's dog. Like I was just pissed off at everybody. Mostly myself. So having the openness to just look at the situation, pick one, and say, how do I forgive the situation? Like, what is it? And I love you. It's always in the back of my head, Dana. It's all just information. It's all just information.
Yeah.
And then how do you piece that information? Because you can take information from an experience and come out with, an infinite amount of outcomes. And are you going to choose the outcome that brings you peace, or are you going to choose the outcome that keeps you rooted in resentment and anger?
Yeah.
That's your choice.
Yeah. And we learn judgment. We learn judgment. We attach what we believe to be right or wrong to something, and it creates victims and victors. And our entire society is built upon that, from our sports teams to Hollywood to politics to everything. It's about the winners and the losers, right? And the media, and I'm not going to go too much into this, but the media is telling us who's the victim this week and who's the victor this week. And because we are imbalanced and we buy into that way of thinking, we align with that. We, I'm supposed to hate this one and I'm supposed to love this one. And then we become the victim or the victor in every situation. And when we look at judgment a little bit differently and we craft it in a more gentle way into discernment, when I feel safe, when I feel worthy, when my heart is open, when I am stable and I am grounded and I'm all of those things, then I have clarity with an open heart to now discern what serves me and what doesn't serve me, what's good for me and what's not good for me. And that discernment helps navigate. When I am misaligned and I'm attaching fears to things or attaching irrational beliefs, attaching judgment or attaching those things, so it becomes judgment. And that judgment puts us in the who's right and who's wrong. And that's where we do victim and victor. That's why our society is so polarized. Jesus Christ.
Your words are as bad as the lag on this episode.
I know, right? But when we become aligned, we become less polarized because we could have compassion for those around us. Think of anything in society that you're just like, oh, that's fucked up, or that's wrong, or I hate that. And just pull back and think about what drives that human to do those things and have an understanding of that. Doesn't mean you agree with it. It doesn't mean you like it. But if you have
doesn't
compassion,
mean you co-sign it, right? You're not co-signing, right? You're just having compassion. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. You have compassion and you move on to what does serve you and what does work for you. We're in the society where we're fighting against all the things we hate. We're only perpetuating what we hate. Focus on
Totally.
loving
Totally.
what
I mean,
you love.
totally.
God.
My, I know it's so annoying. Sorry, everybody. Dana and I are stepping on each other's toes here today.
There's a lag,
It's
man. This
truly,
lag is bullshit.
it is bullshit. But you're rocking it, girl. You're rocking it. Um, the, I would say the moment that I started to feel peace, even amongst like still just, running on the hamster wheel, was when I turned off the news and I stopped allowing that to be part of my everyday. I'm to the point where I don't know. I know roughly what's going on in the world, and it doesn't mean that I'm disregarding what's going on in the world. I'm just not giving it my attention because there's nothing I can do about what's going on in the world. I remember one time, Dave came in. He was like, "Hey, is Dana okay with that hurricane?" I'm like, "There's a hurricane in Florida." I was like, she would tell me if there was an issue. So I just that I get the information that I'm supposed to get. That's how I kind of look at it. I scroll, I've got some sources, I've got, Rob vicariously through you to let me know what's going on that I need to know about. But
Yeah.
besides that, I mean, just not being a part of that every day. Like my ex had the news on the other day on Saturday, and I was like 8 people dead, and I'm like, stop. Stop.
Yeah.
I can't handle the information. I can't not get emotionally involved in it, so I choose to not give it my attention because it breaks my heart. There's all kinds of
Yeah.
sad stuff out there, and I also don't know what's true. I don't know who's telling the truth on stuff. I've seen it too many times where that one particular hurricane in Florida, they were listening to the firefighters talking, but they were showing the fire truck like with water up to the door, and the story was, oh my God, the fire trucks can't even save people. But the two guys in the background were like, yeah, we moved it to higher ground. It was fine. Like they're saying it. And it was like, so if somebody didn't have the sound on, they would just be seeing this truck like, oh my God, all those people. And the guy, they're like, oh yeah, it was parked in a lower spot. We moved it above ground. We're fine. Like everything's operational. We're good. It was like a 10-minute
Yeah.
delay.
Yeah. And if you feel compelled, you in general feel compelled to watch the news and see all these things because you feel like you need to be informed, to me, that tells me that somewhere in you are aligned with that information. Because I personally, I can't even there's certain people I can't even be around. I can't even watch something like that. I can't do it because it's so uncomfortable for me. So if you are feeling like you need to be a part of that, and there's a part of you that needs to feel fear, that not needs to suffer, but is comfortable in that place, then it goes back to this work. What it is about me? Why do I feel I need to know this? Why am I comfortable in the discomfort? I mean, there's so many questions that you can ask yourself.
Yeah.
Our physical and emotional guidance systems tell us where to go at all times. Something feels icky, it's telling us whatever that is, it isn't right for us. If something feels good, it tells us to move in that direction. And that is the best navigation system that you could have for a life of alignment and happiness.
Oh my gosh, we have a whole thing on a whole episode on emotional guidance system and physical guidance system when we're talking about 10 racks, right?
Yeah, I have a workshop on it. I have a
We have a
workshop on
workshop on it.
your personal GPS. Buy now.
Yeah. I'll put the link, finduniquelyyou.com. We do have an on-demand workshop that Dana did. And honestly, understanding your personal GPS is a game changer. Why do I feel this way? All of a sudden I have a pain there. What is that leading me to? And creating awareness to these little things in life. Because honestly, when I'm going through the work, and I have the awareness about a belief, a pattern that I do that's no longer serving. If I have that pattern that pops up, it sneaks up. And then afterwards I'm like, oh damn, but,
Yeah.
but it helps to kind of be like, okay, oh, I'm feeling this way because I'm vulnerable at this moment. This is
Yeah.
tapping into. So it's really cool to have that understanding. So, finduniquelyyou.com. In the shop, you'll find your emotional GPS, your personal GPS, and check it out.
Yeah. All right. I think we should wrap it up.
All right. We should, because this lag is so annoying.
I can't wait to watch this. Like when we go back and like watch it, I can't wait to see like how terrible it is. But for those of you who are actually watching, like, and have stayed with it, thank you. Thank you. I hope it's not as bad as, I hope it doesn't look as bad as it feels, because, you know, it's uncomfortable. So.
I know. Okay. Go to phenom-publishing.com for Veda Finds Your Crown and all the other books that we have, all of Dana's wisdom. It's phenomenal. And stick around, because next week we're going to go into the throat chakra, which is Dana and I. That was our creme de la creme.
Oh, I'm so excited. I was thinking about it. Throat, third eye, and crown. Fuck, dude.
Yeah. Now it's going to get witchy and fun. So
yeah. And for those of you who might not have noticed, I'm going to like lean in. You see this scar in my neck? I had, we'll talk about this more next week, obviously, but I had my thyroid removed at 25. Talk about a stagnant energy in a throat chakra. They were like, I've got that. Go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Let's take us out.
I'm hoping that the synchronicity that we lack when we do this, that maybe the lag will help us. So let's see. Stay tuned.
Fingers crossed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.